So you're typing, gaming, writing a screenplay, an assignment, an essay. Genuine flow state. But your keyboard's filthy. Grime, buildup, dirt, mildew piling up over the past 3 years. Absolutely no cleaning done. So this is how you can clean it and get back to your genuine flow state. Find a keycap puller kind of like this one, so you can take your keycaps and put them into a nice waterproof bowl like this one. Removing those keycaps is when you're going to see the most buildup. It might be a little shocking. Yeah, lots of dust bunnies, lots of hair or fur. Don't know where that could have come from, but here we are. Now that the keycaps are off, you can probably see more clearly the thick layer of dust that's built up between each keycap. And to clean those keycaps, I like to use some dish soap, nothing too intense. Pump a couple of pumps of soap on the keycaps, swish it around in some water, and make sure that the keycaps are submerged in that water before you put them down, set them to the side for a couple of hours to just soak. Now this part was fun because I needed to find a tool to brush off those dust bunnies and fur balls that you saw, and for me, that tool was an unused makeup brush. Any brush will do, but this is what I just had access to, and it works perfectly. I like to set down some paper just so it can collect all of that debris, and I can throw it away fairly quickly without too much of a mess, and just brush, and brush, and brush, and brush. I know for this step a lot of people like to use canned air, which is kind of like a compressed air can that you can just press, and it blows the dust off the plate of the keyboard. I just didn't have that at the moment, but this brush really did the trick. I mean, we're already a really long ways away from where we started. And to move even further along in this deep clean, I would recommend removing the switches if it's a hot swappable keyboard. Just after popping off a few, you can see that somehow the debris got underneath. And after you pop off all of them, you can really see that removing them is a pretty important step. I took this deep clean pretty far and started taking apart the keyboard entirely, just so I can have access to every nook and cranny of the keyboard to really scrape it out and get a thorough deep clean done. When handling the pieces, I would try to be as gentle as you can, especially with the PCB, just because of how integral it is to the functioning of the keyboard. But to wash the external plastic parts, like the silicone dampener and the case itself, you can kind of treat it like a dish with some water and dish soap. And I like to use a microfiber cloth to give them a nice dry. Now for metal parts, like the plate of this keyboard, I would use an ever so slightly damp, definitely not wet, microfiber cloth to give it a thorough wipe down, but nothing wet because you don't want it to rust. And here I go again, taking this keyboard apart even more, and with each layer I pull apart, it seems as though I unlock a new level of grime, as you can see here on the plate. I think it's worth it to note that quality of the keyboard does kind of matter here, as all I did was unscrew it a little bit and it's cracking, and you can even see the chunks of the plastic case that have snapped off. But now with all those parts wiped down and washed, you can start putting the keyboard back together. If needed, you can even brush up the stabilizers or switches if you see some dust, and once they snap back in, the keyboard looks as good as new. Now we can circle back to those keycaps that have been soaking there. Just dump that old soapy water, rinse it down a couple times until you stop seeing suds, and pat them dry with a clean microfiber towel. You may have to let them air dry for a bit if they're still damp, but after that, they're good to go. And now, a clean keyboard. Sharp edges, straight lines, no more dust. This deep clean though did reveal some quality issues in the keyboard itself if you listen closely here. Some squeaking in the case, but otherwise it's as good as new. This is just how I ended up cleaning this particular keyboard. It may not be exactly how you would clean yours, but I hope this video was helpful for you to pick up some cool tips and tricks, and you can start typing again and working on whatever it is that you were working on, reaching that genuine flow state.